Yeah, I'd bang Rouge. What of it?
No, it does not make me a furry. Shut the fuck up, John.
About 2 months ago, some kids got picked up by the police for trafficking bath salts. Around that time, I started getting more late-night calls from Cross Street where the kids were captured. People would get in the car and go to McDonald's or some other houses, hotels, anywhere for a while. One night, I show up early to pick up an older man and take him down to the bar. He turns the yard light on and checks out the window for me. I see him put his jacket on and his hat on, and he runs out to the car. He gets in and locks the doors. "What's the rush, Chief? Wife don't want you to know you're going out?" He snaps from looking out the window to looking at me. "You don't hear it?" he asks. I look around for a minute and shake my head. "The howling," he asks. I roll down the window a little bit. Sure enough, I hear a low, drawn-out howling in the distance. It's just a little louder than the engine of my taxi. He grabs my seat and leans up. "Please, take me to the bar now," he begs. I roll up the window and take him downtown to the bar. He hands me my fare and gets out. He's much more relaxed now. He walks into the bar like he wasn't a raving madman earlier. The night goes on and I do a few more pickups from Cross Street. Each time I pick up, I roll down the window and the howling is still there. No matter where I pick up, I hear the howling far away from me. No one else brings it up but the old man. Central calls and asks me to go pick up the old guy by the waterfront. He walked down there, I guess. I roll up and he's sitting on one of the benches by the public landing. He sees my headlights against the pole in front of him and he stands up. He gets into the car, clearly drunk. I take him home and he sits in the car for a bit. He looks out the window and then back to me. I wait patiently with him. "Thank you," he sighs. He pays me and slowly gets out of the car. I hear him muttering to himself as he gets out of the car. He slams the door shut and staggers up the steps. He stands by the door for a moment before he goes in. I roll down the window and the howling is very close now. I roll the window back up and I radio to Central that I'm all clear. The connection is scratchy, weird for being right in town. I begin to back up. Smack! Thump! Fuck me, I ran somebody over. I put the car in park and I get out. I run to the back of the car. "Hey, are you okay?" There's no one there. I kneel down and look under the car. I see the shadow of legs on the other side of the car. "Hey man, look, I'm sorry I don't find anyone standing over there." I begin to make my way to open the driver's door. Notice the howling has stopped. I pause and look around before I hear footsteps coming from the back of the cab. "Alright, did I hurt you?" I ask, turning around. No one is there. My skin starts standing up on end and I get into the car. I shut the car door and lock all of the doors. I back up slowly, but my headlights pick up movement. I stop again and look around. Maybe some teenagers are just fucking with me. I put my arm over the seat, and there's a shadowy figure in the back seat. I slam on the brakes hard this time and put the car into park. I open the door and jump out. The figure is faceless. It sits there for a moment before evaporating into nothing. I hear footsteps again behind me, and turn to face them. A pair of eyes are heading towards me in the darkness. Golden eyes, like a cat, staring into the flashlight or something, but at human height. I back up against the car and slide back into the driver's seat. I back out of the driveway and leave as fast as I can, tires squawking a little bit as I leave. Already to Central that cross street is off limits for me tonight. Every time I've picked up on that street since, I hear the howling in the distance, but I don't go looking for it anymore. This past Halloween, I have no kids, and my nieces and nephews are far too old for anything that I need to attend to feel like a part of the family. Central has me booked for the night running trick-or-treaters all over town. It's a pretty fun gig. I have a CD with Halloween music on it, and I play it all through the night. Used to dress up, but it's kinda overkill these days when kids just want the candy. Get a call to pick up just outside of town. Woman and her son are coming in for some edible loot. We're all up to the house, and the lights are off, nobody's home. I record the run on my log and wait. Sure enough, this goblin-looking thing pops up in my window, screaming its head off. I jump back from the glass, but it's just the kid. He's maybe 8 years old. He points and laughs as his mom gets him back. He follows from the driver's side passenger door.
I got you, I scared you.
I laugh and agreed. You sure did. She jokingly scolds him for scaring people. I'm cool with whatever. We head into town. They point out the houses and I stop. Both get out and run up to the house and do the trick-or-treat thing. I keep track of the stops. We're about midway of the trek to this one street that everyone goes to. The kid asks me to come along. Mom agrees. What the hell. I need to stretch my legs anyway. We get out of the next few houses. I decide to chat up the mom. She's kinda cute. We finally arrive at the hot spot for Halloween candy, Front Street. There's too many kids and adults to drive down the street, and the cops have it blocked off. Mom and son get out. Son taps on my window and asks if I can go. Mom shrugs. I radio to Central that I'm getting out for a bit. I lock up the cab and off we go. This whole place reminds me of an opening to a Halloween movie. I walk along talking to Mom about life and raising kids. Let's call the kid Junior. Junior does the heavy lifting of this adventure and bum rushes each house for their sugary loot. Mom and I are talking. Kid goes missing. Fuck. I notice it at first. Mom starts panicking.
I knew I should have kept him close.
I step up to the last house he was at. They point up the street. I take Mom and we rush up to the next house. He was a few houses ahead, surprisingly. We get to one house, no lights on, nobody outside. I knock on the door and this old woman answers. She complains about me knocking and says that she don't do Halloween. She shuts the door in my face and I return to Mom. No dice, Junior hasn't been here. She pulls out her phone to call 911. I put my hand over and point towards the backyard of this house. His treat pail is on the ground just before the street light ends. We rush to the back corner of the house. Junior is out back playing around with some other kids.
Hey mama, come meet my friends.
Junior waves us over. A little girl and two boys have been out there with him. They're playing on an old tire swing tied to this huge oak tree. It's pretty dark behind this house, but I can make out their faces in the dark and they're having a good time. Mom joins in for a moment before I remind her that this isn't public property. Junior frowns and hugs onto the little girl.
I don't want to go.
Mom takes him by the hand and says that his friends can come until we find their parents. The kids travel with us for a little bit. The two boys are dressed up like ninjas. They're a little older than Junior. The girl is dressed up like a witch but with no hat. We stay close to them this time. The trick-or-treating ends on this street and we head back to the cab. No sign of their parents. No one is looking for them. The police on the street radio back to dispatch and dispatch reports no missing children. I sit down with the kids by the police cruiser while the cops take down their information. The little girl stays close to Junior and the two boys pretend to sword fight with their fake ninja swords. Mom makes phone calls to see if her friends recognize them. The old woman from the house steps up to me. She looms over me for a minute before I stand up. She shakes her head disapprovingly and the little girl begins to cry as she stands up and begins walking away. The two boys stop fighting and wave goodbye to Junior as they start walking away too. The old woman turns and begins to walk away. Cops get out of the cruiser and question her for a minute. "They're mine," the old woman growls. She scoffs at the cop's next question and leaves. He follows her and spins her around. She smacks his hand and they exchange some words. I can't hear over the exhaust of the cruiser I'm standing by. She shakes her head and walks away from him again. He returns to us adjusting his hat.
"She's her grandmother. They're supposed to be in bed."
I look at my watch. It's 7 p.m. We've been with them for a couple of hours. I explain the situation and he shrugs. "So you just let some old lady take 3 kids because she said she could?"
"Hey, I didn't give you any grief when you lost your kid."
Mom and I follow the old lady back to the house. I knock on the door and she answers it. She slams the door in my face when she sees it's me. Mom and I decide to give up at that point. Junior, however, leans over the side of the front porch and waves into the backyard. Mom and I lean over the railing too, but there's nothing back there but that tree.
They went home, Mom. Let's go home too.
I look at her and she looks at me. The night goes smoothly. Junior takes home 2 buckets of candy with him and he's all tuckered out. Junior falls asleep in the back. Mom asks me about the house and the kids and I tell her I've never been there before. She calls around on her ride home. She explains that the old lady inherited the house when she was a little girl and that's all anybody knows about her and that house. I shrug it off. It didn't occur to me until later that night when I dropped off a couple of trick-or-drinkers just down the street from that house that Junior wasn't waving to the tree. I still check that house when I'm on Front Street to see if those kids are around. No such luck. Don't know where they went, but they're not at that house anymore. The old lady is, though.
Nigga, my girl look identical to Albert Einstein. My girl looks just like Albert Einstein. Nigga, my girl look identical to Albert Einstein. My girl looks just like Albert Einstein.